If I was to ask you right now, something deep in your heart, your first prayer request, when you close your eyes, when you are a quiet moment, you have something to think about and pray about, you know you go one place. It's the husband that's an alcoholic. It's that you just were widowed. It's that you have a divorce pending. It's that you have a child that's walking away from the Lord, or one that's run away from home. Or it could be you have a spouse or a son or a nephew that's in the war. You have something that you go to that maybe if I said, how you doing, you'd say, fine. But really there's that thing in us that we hold tight to, and we're worried about, and we're concerned. And we say, but I'm not supposed to be worried and concerned. Well, it's not that you're not supposed to be, it's just that there's an answer to it. There's a way to get around it. And I wanted to say that the magazines of today that are on the rack, such as Women's World, I picked this up yesterday because it doesn't matter what week you pick this up, it will tell you the answer to all of your problems. Is that right? Look at this. I mean, first off, they've got Oprah, and don't we all love to watch Oprah? Even if we don't admit it, we like to turn it on once in a while and see what she's up to. But look at here. The most important thing says lose 8 pounds dieting in just 3 days a week. I mean, we would just be a shadow, especially those 5 pounds that was gained on the scales there. How to celebrate like Oprah. Oh, my goodness. You know, we don't even have a tree up yet. So I'm going to get home and I'm going to start celebrating like Oprah. I'm going to have special recipes, decorating tricks. I want to look great. Oh, this is going to be good. Herbal remedies. Oh, better than antibiotics. That's right. I've heard that you're not supposed to take too many antibiotics, so you need to take herbal remedies. I'm going to find out about that in here. Energy boosters. We all need energy now. And gorgeous holiday hair. Oh, my goodness. There's even more things that I can't even read because I forgot my glasses. That's okay. So when the people that put this together and all the other magazines on the stand are paid a lot of money to get you to pick up their magazine because they know what's in the heart of a woman. The Bible has all the answers. Putting them into operation, getting them to work, that's another thing. Have you ever picked up the Bible and said, I know I'm not supposed to be worried, but I can't even tell what's on the pages. I'm so worried. Well, this little gift here that I'm going to give you when you walk out the doors, they're going to be handed to you, so you can take this home. And I call it gifts from Jesus, because the first thing that he says in John, it's not the first thing he says, but it's in John 14, is that peace I leave you, my peace I give to you, not as the world gives. Let not your hearts be troubled. So if Jesus says, I'll give you peace, not as the world gives you, I'm not going to just do things that, have a party for you because then you'll feel peaceful. That's not peace. It's not marching in a peace parade. He gives you the peace that passes understanding, the peace in our hearts. We had, as you know, Matthew. I also have 3 other children. Ruthie is 16 months older. Now, Ruth was the perfect baby. I was barely 18 when I had Ruth, and she's long and tall and long arms and healthy, and we did a really good job. And you ever feel like you have the perfect baby and nobody's baby's cuter? In fact, Ron, I'm going to talk to him right now, he used to say, our baby is the cutest. And I said, Ron, everybody thinks that. And he said, oh, but ours really is. They don't understand. And he said that about each one of them till he has the best family ever. And he does, because it's my family too. But at least I knew there were other people that thought their children were just as cute. After Ruthie was 16 months old, we had our next baby. Everything should be fine. We're healthy. We didn't smoke. We didn't do any of the things that should cause trouble in the 60s, LSD, all the things that were available. We didn't do that. And so people that were taking drugs were having healthy babies, and we have Matthew. And they thought for sure it was probably a drug that I took for seasickness, which was for flight, which was also given for prenatal early morning sickness. I only took 1 tablet. And that's not what caused his problem, but the Public Health Department of San Francisco thought it was, because that's when the thalidomide babies were born. And those of you that are old enough, remember when the children in Germany were born with thalidomide difficulties? A lack of arms and legs and fingers and whatever. So they thought for sure that's what happened with Matthew. So we were under scrutiny for that. Turns out there's quite a number of people with diastrophic dwarfism. And so our friend Linda tells, when her baby was born, Danielle, at least it was a diagnosis. When Matthew and Sam were born, it wasn't. they just sort of lumped everybody together as achondroplasia. And I met a lady, I think she's in the back room, whose child has achondroplasia, and they loved the show. And that's the reason that the family has decided to do that show, was so people could see that you can have a totally, I won't say normal life, because I don't think that's a normal life, but as average a life and normal as possible, like the rest of us. Doesn't matter what your disability is, you're still the person who you are in your skin and in your head and in your heart. And there needs to be more acceptance, and the acceptance comes from being exposed to people. And so Matthew told Amy, he said, you know that we've been stared at all our life. You have and I have, and all the people in Little People of America, and now Zach. He said, what if we had a venue where people could sit down in their living room, watch TV, record it, TiVo it, go back and forth, stare, whatever they want to do, and they are learning all the time that we're the same as they are. And she said, that is a good idea. So that was the first show, the only show that was going to be shown, was that here are people, short-statured, that are living a life just like you and I. So as it's gone on, it's gotten to be more of a show, not of watching people who are little people, but more of watching a family, and a family develop and grow. And I often think, I wish it would stop now, because you never know what those kids of ours are going to do, especially our grandkids. It's a pretty much a fishbowl they live in. However, as people have asked at our table and also in the other room, they've asked about, do the kids get tired of being filmed? And, I asked Molly that just 2 weeks ago, and she said, no, not really. I think they take it in stride now. It's no big deal, and if they say, we don't want you here today, the cameras won't be there. But, as Matthew reminds them, the sooner they get the footage taken, then they're off. Then they're gone. So they film all the time. In answer to the question I'm asked often is, how often do they film? They're there all the time. They're there from 8 in the morning, unless they're going somewhere earlier than that, till 11 at night. And that's 2 crews. And if there's nothing going on at all, then they can go into the back barn, and they've rented the barn, and they do editing and all that kind of thing. But most of the time they've got cameras going, and they've always got 1 or 2 people creeping around in the corners. I wish they'd see this tape. If something happens, man, they're just like that. They're there. So it's an interesting life. It's different. And we are not there a whole lot. We live 4 miles away. We have been there. Often we're filmed and not shown. And other times we're just not there because they are a family. How often do you want to be stuck with your in-laws and your parents at the house? So we give them all kinds of freedom.